else you'd like, including last night's incident at McDonald's, if you like. Okay, and, any questions for any matters unrelated to the assaults?
Hey, can you just kind of go over what happened last night, what BPD was met with when they got to the McDonald's?
Sure. I'll just go over, first of all, the press release that we've sent out here. Vancouver police negotiated with a distraught man who was threatening to light himself on fire. Despite the efforts of officers, the man lit himself on fire, and the IAO is now investigating. Just after 9 p.m. Last night, a distraught man in his 30s entered a McDonald's restaurant near Commercial Drive in East Broadway. He was carrying a gasoline can and he threatened to harm himself. Negotiations with the man were unsuccessful, and he lit himself and parts of the restaurant on fire. Officers used less lethal Arwin rounds, and members from the Vancouver Fire and Rescue used a high-pressure water hose on the man. The man was transported to hospital with serious burn injuries, and the restaurant sustained some property damage. Fortunately, no one else was injured during this incident. The IO are now investigating. There's no further information to release at this time. Any further inquiry should be directed to the IO.
Do you know, was he hit with the Arwin gun?
I can't get into that right now. The IO will have to speak to that.
Is he at all familiar to officers? Like, is it someone who's they've had interactions with before?
Yeah, he has had interactions with the police prior to this, yes.
Can you say what?
Not at this time. But we can't say there is a history of some mental illness.
Can you talk a bit more about that, in that the former chief talked often about how police are so often put into that position of being the first line with people dealing with mental illness. How challenging is it in a scenario like that where someone is threatening harm and police are there?
This one in particular, I haven't personally seen this in my own experience and talking to some other members. This is a pretty high risk situation for everybody involved. It's very dangerous, obviously not only for the male that doused the gas on him, but there's all sorts of other bad scenarios that could have happened as a result of this. He's in a crowded restaurant as well. There's other considerations to take in. We don't know the motive at that point. We can assume some things. So we're dealing with it as best we can and having some safeguards in place, such as Vancouver Fire and Rescue, who are there quite quick to assist us.
Do you have an update on his condition?
Serious bird injuries remaining in the hospital.
Do you know, even anecdotally, if police are responding to more cases dealing with people with mental illness?
I don't have the stats. I do know that, on a day-to-day basis, we are definitely going to these types of calls, but this one is very extreme.
Can you explain the Arwin gun and when you would use that, as far as when you're looking at force and when you're approaching a situation like this?
Yeah, we call these types of, I'll call them weapons, less lethal. So it's the same as a beanbag shotgun. We have officers that are specialized to use this that are in our emergency response team, and they are the only ones that will use this. And basically it's used as a less lethal, so it's a situation where we may have to use lethal force, but we don't. We want to try and work our way up.
Are you able to tell us, whether officers tried to negotiate this with this man first, how long that went on for?
Well, I can tell you we did attempt negotiations with him for, I believe, around 40 minutes yesterday, and made some evacuations. We made some other decisions around the scene where we had Vancouver Fire and Rescue there as quick as we can, because it's quite dangerous for the officers that are dealing with this as well. And we tried our best to resolve this as peacefully as we could. Unfortunately, this male was hurt in the end.
And was the Arwin gun deployed before he lit himself on fire or after?
I can't get into the specifics of that as it's under investigation from the IO.
Do you know if he was threatening anybody else? There was one witness that said they heard him say to a woman in the restaurant that he was going to burn her.
I don't have that information right now, but I do know officers were on scene fairly quickly and were able to evacuate people around him out of the restaurant.
What can you tell us about the water used on him? Like, is that something that the VPD would make a request to Vancouver Fire? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, we would definitely put that request out as soon as we could. That's a safety issue for not only the members there, for the man himself, for anybody else, but also for the structure, There's other considerations that Vancouver Fire had to assist us with, such as shutting down the gas line, those kind of things to the building, all kinds of other considerations from them. So we rely on our partners, Vancouver Fire and Rescue, all the time, and especially last night, they were there quite quickly and were able to assist.
And was the water then used in terms of the fire, or was it used as a tool to try to subdue this man?
I wouldn't say subdue, but it was there and on standby quick, and whatever way that hose could work, resolve that situation peacefully, we were willing to use it. In this case, it was used to distinguish the man and also start. The building had caught on fire as well, so fire was there to help with that.
So the water was only used after the fire had started?
The hose was used to put out flames. Okay, thank you. Is there any other questions for anything else unrelated?
Do you do anything special for St. Patrick's Day, like anticipating more inebriated people or anything like that?
We will have officers downtown in the entertainment district for sure, and we are aware that it's generally can be a more busy weekend, especially in Gastown, but we do have an increased officer presence in the downtown core and in Gastown.
Thank you,
Okay,
Jason.
thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.